not your average hip-hop. My rap style knock you out your flip-flops. Let the blood side goons drip drop, and my blue rag cats will crip hop. From the 30s to the 100s, sleep when I die, so I'm gon' keep running. The end right there, I can see the line clearly, and God with me, so the devil ain't near me.